but proceed with caution.
I've got your back. Division, you're in trouble now!
Got a visual on additional hostiles in the memorial compound. They're moving south. There's a gate between you. It looks closed from here.
Agent, you'll need to find a way to open that gate.
We end this now.
On the move! Hold it down!
What's up guys, Patrick Wolf here, welcome to another Division 2 build video. Today's video is going to be the best rifle build in TU10. You can get up to 21 million damage every single shot with a rifle. So you guys have come to the right place if you're looking for the best damage build you can possibly obtain in this game right now. I'm going to showcase and guide you through step by step. So let's have a look first and foremost at what specialization we're going to be utilizing. It should be quite obvious, as you can see the TAC 50 on my back. So it's very important to use sharpshooter for any kind of sniper or rifle build. The reason being is because of one in the head. This is a passive talent, so 15% increased headshot damage with rifles and marksman rifles allows for precision kills. Now this is very nice. Don't forget that you also get breath control, 15% increased weapon stability, reduced recoil and faster requisition of targets. That goes in conjunction with accuracy, so it really does work with rifles very well because rifles have a close-in space when you're aiming the reticle, so this will help you quite a bit. You can also use the tactician drone, which allows you to scout the area to see enemies where they might be. There are other things which gives you more headshot damage. All group members that are closer to enemies than you get 10% headshot damage. It works very nice, and you get armor gained while you are in cover, and after 20 seconds in cover you start regenerating 5 marksman rifle and 5 rifle ammo every 10 seconds. So it really does make sense. So make sure you have all of these activated. We want to be mainly focusing on rifles, so if you want to use a secondary, I do recommend using an LMG. It's very nice, and I'll show you guys why. Okay, so the whole purpose of this build is to do as much damage as possible. Now, before we get into it, I must say that all my builds are templates for you guys to adjust to your own play style. I just give you ideas. These are always templates. Do not go and copy someone's build because, you know, I'm maybe good at playing a certain way. I'm going to explain all the other options available when I make these build videos. I generally do. So thank you very much for the previous support, and hopefully we keep going strong. I'm going to carry on bringing you guys the best. build videos. I did actually acquire this gingerbread man arm patch, which is quite nice. After the video I made, we finally just rerun it. It doesn't take too long, so make sure to go check that video if you guys are wondering about this patch. Let's go straight into the details now. Okay, so this build is actually, it's going to require quite a bit of explaining, because a lot of people are using the wrong the wrong amount of reds and blues in their build. So let me just get one thing straight. We're going to be using Headhunter. Now, a lot of people do not understand how Headhunter works. Do you know that if I change this blue to a red, I get no damage increase? I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but I will explain that in a second. It is way better to have 1 or 2 blues in your build utilizing Headhunter, because there is a cap in damage. So first and foremost, let's go over, obviously we've got 5 reds and 1 blue. We are quite tanky. To be honest, I could add another Healer Guard holster. Okay, so I'm hitting about 21,900,000. If I add a Healer Guard holster, I will get 1.3 million armor, and I will be hitting about 18 million a shot. So this is how you can adapt this build. It's so easily adaptable. If you guys aren't the greatest player, and maybe you're not the best at aiming, and you want to be a bit more tanky, because being squishy but doing lots of damage, that's a trade-off. Now, you might struggle in certain aspects, especially in the new raid. You want to be able to do as much damage as possible, but this build is so good because you can still do massive amounts of damage, but also be kind of tanky. So we'll go over the options very soon once we get to the knee pads. But first and foremost, let's go over the weapons. The Virginian is, in my opinion, the best rifle in the game by a long shot. I can hit huge amounts of damage, roll headshot damage on it, not damage the target out of cover. The reason being is because sniper rifles get the 150% headshot damage, which is what we need, because that's how the chest piece talent works. So you need to achieve 150% headshot damage. I have got 151%, so it's perfect, and I'll showcase that now on the chest piece. So we need to roll headshot damage. Unless you guys have got enough headshot damage on your other pieces, it's completely up to you. So perfect boomerang. Critical hits have a 75% chance to return the bullet to the magazine. If a bullet is returned to the magazine, the next shot has 50% increased damage. Now, we have got maxed out crit chance on this build. That is why perfect boomerang is really good. If you don't have 60% crit chance and you're really struggling with your build, if you have less than 45%, I would use Rifleman. So just keep that in mind, but then you wouldn't be able to use this beautiful Virginian. Now, the accuracy is amazing for this gun. You only have 5 bullets, but you end up having about 7 or 8 because of boomerang, sometimes even more. Sometimes you can fire so many rounds, and the reason why I like to use this gun with this build is because it's the most amount of damage that a rifle can do, especially with boomerang procced. So it's very important you use this. Do not use the Diamondback. The Diamondback is trash compared to this gun. Let me tell you guys something right now. The Diamondback, with the same build, I hit about 4 or 5 million less damage. So don't use that weapon. Use the Virginian or the 1886. They're amazing, and the base damage is huge. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's look at why I have the Bullet King. So sustained damage with this build is really good. Let's say you're in the Dark Hours raid and the Chunga spawned, and you need to kill the Chunga before he destroys the area in the final boss. You swap to this gun, you have infinite ammo. You can just carry on progressively shooting. That's why I have this, and it can still do a lot of damage. 60% crit chance, high crit damage, and we've got 80k base. So this is just a very, very good option. Now, something to note. The Eagle Bearer and assault rifles in general. Assault rifles have health damage. Health damage applies to the weak points in the raids. So like, you know, when you're in the third boss. Okay, let me give you an example from the Dark Hours raid. When you're actually shooting the final boss, Razorback, when the panels come up, you guys notice when you shoot those weak points on the boss, they'll like make a funny noise and they'll have a yellow cross on. Those are weak points, and health damage applies to weak points. So you don't have to use the Bullet King. If you are in a raid, I would swap this to a nice assault rifle. But don't be the guy who uses the Eagle Bearer with the shield. Because if you use this with a shield, the debuff will kill you. So I wouldn't recommend using the Eagle Bearer. So it's completely up to you guys what assault rifle you use. But just some side notes, because I want to give you as much information as possible, you know, to try to answer your comments, because I cannot answer all of the comments, guys. We've been getting a lot of comments lately. Pistol, use whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. When you mod this, I would go for reload speed on the Virginian. That's completely up to you. I think there's only 2 options that we have available. Reload speed headshot damage and rate of fire. Now you can go for headshot damage. This is actually beautiful. I think I must have just unlocked this because I didn't see it. So here's another way of getting 5% headshot damage. It's not necessary for me right now, but this can save you if you're just below. So make sure you put reload speed if you have got the headshot damage, because that's going to help you a lot. Let's go over the pieces now. So we've got Providence Defense 2-piece. Now the reason being is because we want headshot damage, which is good. Do not use the Punch Drunk Mask. I don't recommend it. You can use the Hollow Man if you really want to, but crit chance is very, very vital in this build because we've got Boomerang, so we need the crits. So Providence Defense, we've got nice crit chance, nice headshot damage, because headshot damage is really good. Now, there's other options like 3-piece aces and 8s, but that's just, it doesn't work. I don't get as much damage. Aces and 8s, I don't really rate that highly, to be honest, at the moment. It has been nerfed quite significantly. So, once you know what to do, make sure that every single piece that you put headshot damage mods. I've got 9.4% ones, 9.8% headshot damage on my mods. So hopefully you guys can get it. I don't actually have headshot damage rolled on here, which is good because I have reached the cap. So crit damage is very nice, crit chance and headshot damage. Those are the three things you want to focus on to kind of utilize the crit as well, not just with the headshots. Because normally, if you make a sniper build, you don't want to focus too much on crit. But because the Virginian has a crit-based talent, it just makes sense, and it's easily obtainable. It's easily obtainable to get high crit damage and crit chance, especially with the Shade Tech watch level, which is quite important to get up as well. We'll get into that in a second. So that's the mask, the 2-piece Providence, the chest piece. This is where the bread and butter comes, the cornerstone of the build. Walker and Harris chest piece. This is a perfect headhunter chest piece. We've got maxed out headshot damage, nice amount of crit chance, weapon damage is there. We do have damaged weapon damage 5% as well, which does help us. So perfect headhunter. After killing an enemy with a headshot, your next weapon hit with 30 seconds, within 30 seconds, deals an additional 150% of the killing blows damage. Damage is capped to 800, but if you have 150% headshot damage or greater, you will get 1,250 damage. So that's very important that we reach that 150% and don't go below, otherwise you'll be wasting the talent completely. And here's where it gets interesting. So because we've got a damage cap, guys, there's no reason to run full reds on this build. Like I said before, you can still get just as good results if you run another blue, maybe a Healer Guard holster, or if you have the crit chance, go for a blue Hollow Man mask to do more damage to weak points. You could have 1.3 million armor and still hit like 18, 19 million a shot. So that's how good this build could potentially be. And I will actually showcase this. Yeah, screw it. I'm going to showcase this after I've shown this build so we can go into detail, because I want this build video to be in depth. I don't want it to just be a showcase because there's a lot of explaining to do. People are misled and people don't see how the mechanics work in full. So I apologize if I am taking my time, but I'm doing my best to showcase this right. So the reason why I've gone for Grupo, I've tried a Overlord armament, which gives us rifle damage. Now, this is just better. I just hit harder. It could be because I've got a better roll, and it gives us 15% crit damage. This just amplifies the talent, the Boomerang talent, which is very, very nice. Roll headshot damage, crit chance, weapon damage on everything, really. Backpack as well. Yield Faithful Vigilance. It's the best way to get damage. Crit chance, crit damage, headshot damage mods. Make sure you use it. Vigilance gives us a lot of damage as well. And if you get shot, it's only 3.5, 4 seconds, and then you get it back. It's 25% weapon damage. It's a must use. Then on the gloves, we've got Cheska. I've got hazard protection, crit chance, weapon damage. The reason why I've got hazard protection is it's quite interesting. I have 20% hazard protection on this build as well. Now, that might not sound like much, but that saved me a few times when I'm on fire. But you're a bit tanky, so it might not be necessary. So make sure you decide whether or not you want to use crit damage or headshot damage. What I would do is the way it scales is quite different. But with the Virginian, you're going to be getting a lot of boomerang restock. You're going to be getting a lot of damage and crit, so it's completely up to you guys. If you have a lot of crit chance and you are using the Virginian, I would roll crit damage, but you know, as long as you have that 150% headshot damage, the rest of it should go towards crit damage. So with the knee pads, we've got Sawyer's knee pads here. These are amazing for any kind of build because we can actually stand still for a small amount of time and gain 30% weapon damage, and then it lasts for another 2 or 3 mags while we're moving. So we can get, this is more damage. Yeah, this is where people are going to get confused. Okay, so I get more damage with this than I do with the Fox's Prayer knee pads. Now that is tested with the blue. So that I've got Fox's Prayer knee pads rolled with the blue with armor, okay? Because you cannot justify having way less armor with only a slight bit of damage increase. If I put these on, I get about 300, 400k a shot damage. It's not worth it. I'd rather have more armor, and it's only the lower values, not the main headshot damage. So it's better off to run Sawyer's knee pads. You can get more damage with the blue. So I'm comparing that to utility. Yes, if you run red Fox's Prayer, you only get a slight amount more of damage, but it's not needed because Headhunter will just proc all the time and just outweigh it, and we can become tanky. Like I said before, I'm going to quickly showcase the rest of the stuff, and then we can go in the testing range so I can explain what I mean. So with the stats, these are some juicy stats. So we've got 58.2% crit chance. I can roll more crit chance somewhere else if I really need to, or mod it. It depends. Now that I've seen that headshot damage mod, I can change it up. But as long as you have, I would say, above 45-50%, I wouldn't go less than that, to be honest. We've got 95% crit damage, 151% headshot. Make sure you've attained that 150%. Then we're going to go down. We've got reload speed bonus 30%, which is actually quite a big difference. 22% stability, which applies to rifles as well. I'm going to scroll down and you guys can have a look. This offensive stat page means nothing because it doesn't include the talents. We've got all of this here. I'm going to quickly scroll down. Then we go over here. I've got 20% hazard protection, which is actually quite nice. 17% explosive resistance as well. Hello. That's really, really nice because of the knee pads. And it has the great thing about the Sawyer's knee pads. We don't get staggered by explosions. So you won't have trouble with the explosions. You still take damage, but have a look at this. We can survive explosions as well. It's just the way that you can survive and do damage with this build is it's one of the best I've ever used. So that's pretty much it. Now I have gone with using a shield, and this is another reason why I prefer to use a rifle over a marksman rifle. It's not needed because the Mantis hits about the same amount as the Virginian, and I've gone to use a shield. So I've got a tier 1 shield. Now that's why having a blue or 2 blues in the build outweighs that missed damage from the Fox's Prayer. But remember, that's comparing Fox's Prayer with a red compared to a blue Sawyer's knee pad, and it's only just beats it. So we get another tier of a shield, which is 40% more shield health, which is ridiculous. And then you could stack more on here, and you can tank a lot of damage with the shield, almost 2 million health, and hold it out with the Virginian. So I feel like that's a good trade-off. Then we've just got the Revive Hive. So let's go over to the testing range so I can showcase all of this to you guys. Okay, so we're in the firing range now. I've got my Headhunter ready. We are on Heroic, by the way, guys. It is bugged. It is actually on Heroic. So let's have a look and see. I will have the damage numbers available. So we're in cover. This is with the normal build. That's about 15.8k. Sorry, 15.8 million. There we just hit 21,961,920. That is with this rifle. And it just keeps going. Now remember, with Boomerang, we get that initial damage. So now I'm going to hit that big number. Look how quick that was. Look how that just came about. Again. Once again, and for a third time, 20 million. So as you can see by the numbers, 21 million, 16 million, 17 million, 21, 21, 20. It's crazy, and once you get it going, it's just unstoppable. And that's with the current build I've got on now. I can even prove it to you. Have a look at this. So let's try and see what happens. So when I change these to a blue Fox's Prayer, obviously we're going to be getting a bit more damage with the Sawyer's knee pads because it's just 30%. It's just the way it goes. So if I put these red Fox's Prayer on and we have a look, we can try proc it again. 16 mil. There's Boomerang. That's 18.3 million. Maybe I undersold it there, guys. I actually didn't realize how much more damage you get from Sawyer's knee pads. Look at this. We can barely touch 17 mil. 16,271,368. That is a huge difference. That's like 5 million. That is 5 million damage we are losing using Fox's Prayer. There's an 18 mil. 16 mil again. Yeah, 18 mil, 16, 17. It's like 3, 4, 5 million difference, which is ridiculous on average. So that's actually a perfect explanation and demonstration of to why the Sawyer's knee pads are so good. And here is another quick little side note just before we leave this video. So with the Sawyer's knee pads, you guys see it stacking now. You see when I move, I still have the damage. As the cooldown ends, let's say you're in cover and the cooldown ends, but you see it's going to come back up there on the left side under my ammo count. It's charging up. Let's say we get it to about there and we move. Look how long it lasts for. we can fire about 2 or 3 mags with the stacks. That's why Sawyer's knee pads are so good, and obviously we don't get staggered by explosions. So hopefully you guys did understand that quick demonstration and why actually utilizing the blues of the Sawyer's knee pad. Not only are we tankier, but we do end up hitting more damage than Fox's Prayer. Okay, so now that I've showcased the damage there compared to the Fox's Prayer, let's have a look and see if you guys want it to be a bit more tanky. Let's see what happens to the Headhunter, because the Headhunter talent is actually capped. So as you can see, my armor values are full on both of them. So it's not 1.2, it's actually 1.2 million armor we have got right now. The reason why I've used this is because I'm not losing out on headshot damage. So 1.2 million armor. Let's have a look and see what kind of numbers we can actually obtain with this. This is on heroic, guys, remember. So we are hitting about the same as the Fox's Prayer knee pads, just under 17 mil, actually a bit more. So we are one-shotting heroic. That's 19 million, 20 million, 20 million. I don't even know why I even use only one blue. Look at this. That's 19 million, 20 million, 20 million, 19 million, 15 million with 1.2 million armor. So this is a great showcase of how this works. You can be tanky and still dish out huge amounts of damage because of the fact that Headhunter talent is capped. Don't run all reds with this talent. You guys can see how strong this actually is. I don't know if I should make a separate video explaining Headhunter, because it seems like a lot of the community don't understand how it is capped and how that works. But hopefully this video kind of helped you guys. I mean, you could even push it further and do a little bit less damage, but have 3 blues, maybe 1.4, 1.5 million armor. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Division 2 content, and I'll be seeing everybody in the next video. Peace out, agents.